Guys, you're not going to believe this. They have like web comics, but they're like on paper and stuff. Check this out. Like you can all these books here. If you look at them, they're like they got like comics in them, but it's like web pages, but it's like comics. It's really weird, but they're on paper. So somebody had to kill a tree for this to happen. It's very, very special. Anyway, I'm Z-Manzilla, and I'm looking at these dead trees here that are trying to be webcomics, and seeing which one I should take home with me to be my very special pet, and I can read them and all that fun stuff. In the meanwhile, I also made a video here about the top 5 snap maps that I played this week. Now, this was an interesting week. I didn't do a lot of upvotes, but the ones I did upvote were fantastic, and it was a really tough decision to just narrow it down to 5. On the other hand, my upvote list is a little lacking, I guess you'd say. Interesting week all around. But listen, go ahead and check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you've got a snap map you'd like me to play, let me know in the comments with a map ID and a brief description. Let's not forget that description, pretty please. For now, though, let's check out my top 5, huh? Leading the charge at number 5 spot is the Unreal Doom Level 1 by DoomGuy161. This was a remake of an Unreal mission that I didn't actually play, I'll be honest, but I really enjoyed what this map looked like. It was super sexy looking here. Now, of course, it has the single jump, no vault thing going on, which I assume has to do with the fact that it's a remake of a map that didn't have those features as well. So, hey, fair play. I'm there to look at this beautiful custom geo. I mean, just take a look at this footage. It looks awesome. It's a great build with some very creative elements in it, including some custom switch elements that were very, very cool. You know, they look like these sort of big old style switches that you have to throw, and it's really cool. It's a quick and fun map with some great combat scenarios, and I had a lot of fun with this one, just exploring it and checking out all the fun work that was done in here, especially those little lantern gadgets there. Those were really cool, and a lot of surprising things happened during combat as well. I was a big fan of it. I'll tell you, though, one thing that I wasn't a fan of was the sheer number of lost souls in this map, but you know what, that's just a personal thing. You know, I mean, obviously I don't like lost souls. Why, you know, I guess some folks do. I'm not one of them. In any case, but I mean, everything else that was going on in this map was a whole lot of fun to fight through. There was this other thing that was going on. I have a feeling that it hasn't been updated since update 5 because it was doing that weird lockup thing. You know, when sometimes when there's a whole bunch of changes to the geo, it'll lock up for a moment while those changes are getting registered. And I have a feeling that that's because it hasn't been updated since update 5. But you know what? It doesn't distract at all. It gives, if anything, it just gives you a little bit of a breather before you're about to hit the poo. You know, it's just a whole bunch of fun to play through this map. It looks great, it plays great, it stands the test of time. It's Unreal Doom Level 1 by DoomGuy161, and you can check it out with map ID WPQ3N6AB. At number 4 this week is Secluded, map 11, Dismembered by BusyMan123. Now this continues the Secluded series, only this time we are now switching focus back over to the main protagonist, Flynn, as we continue that story and find out what happens to Flynn after the events which took Crash's life. Spoilers, sorry about that. In any case, this is continues to be a very awesome looking series with great prop and geo work throughout this map, some awesome module repainting, especially an interesting repaint of the Molten module, which was ambitious and it all paid off. It was really awesome. Some very deep and well-written story elements, although we're going to get to a little problem with that in a moment. There were also some very effective ganks in this one, and a final boss battle that was so difficult that I feel like it was actually balanced for the BFG, which was pretty interesting. One thing to keep in mind is that the consequence for death in this map is that if you die too many times, you lose immediate access to the BFG. Now, what's weird about that is you actually do get it back later on, and again, I have a feeling it's because that final boss battle really was balanced for the BFG, which is really interesting, to say the least. Now, some things I do want to bring up here. The big bad spam is definitely in full effect in this map. There's also this issue with the story elements that they can be triggered during combat because they're pickup-based. You get these, like, sort of custom pickups, and because of that, the pickups go away and the story elements can't be read twice. So if you accidentally pick up one of the story element bubbles there, you have no way of, you know, if you have to click out of it immediately because you're being attacked, there's really no way to go back and reread it. So that's a problem because you're missing some of those story elements, and there's some really great story stuff going on in this map. Also, one of the things is that the level design in this is very confusing in places to someone like me. Now, keep in mind, if you are the kind of person that loves doing exploring, You're going to totally love this map. There's a lot to explore here. And I love the way, especially that, the way switches in one place will do things in another area. Very, very explore heavy, but it can be a little confusing if you're sort of an idiot like I am. In any case, though, you're going to just love the scenery in this one. It's a very hectic map, and it continues that story strongly. It is Secluded Map 11, dismembered by Busyman123, and you can check it out with map ID D68JGE4L. Or you can just go to the very beginning and try the whole campaign out if you haven't already. Definitely recommend that. It's awesome. Let's take a quick moment here to remind everybody about the upcoming Snapshot Challenge. So as you know, we're in the middle of a 2-week development cycle on Snapshot 5, which is, of course, D is for Doom Guy. And your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to create a Doom snap map that is educational or teaches players something. Remember, any facts in your map must be true. Now, if you're working on it, hey, good news, you got another week to go here. But just remember those rules, 3 modules or less, 10-minute par or playtime or less there. Make sure I have enough time to play all the maps, and of course you're going to want to make sure you tag it with custom tag SS5. That's to make sure that I find them when I look for them. That seems like common sense to me. In any case, remember that deadline is Thursday, October 26th, and I will be playing all SS5 maps on my live Twitch broadcast on Friday, October 27th, 2017. Are you ready to teach me something? I certainly hope so. I am looking forward to all of your Snapshot Challenge entries. Good luck! Coming in at number 3, and I swear this is just a coincidence, is 3 Salvation by Spindleshanks. This is another fun continuation of the series here. I believe it's called Baptism of Blood, and it's been just wonderful psychological horror throughout, and this was no exception. Some great sound design, some excellent geo-prop work, including a pyramid, a truly creepy demon face, a castle, and much, much more. I could sit here all day just listing off all the builds that I was impressed with this one. It continues that tradition of excellent psychological horror elements, with some awesome call-outs to some with movie references and community references all throughout, including an amusing one about RoboCop that I thought was really funny. In addition to that, it's not just humor here. There are some good and effective jump scares throughout this map, as well as some creative boss battles with some fantastic use and exploit of geo-prop tricks, including an interesting trick involving non-solid props to hide shooting mobs. I thought that was really, really cool looking, and huge thumbs up for that. It was a really interesting boss battle. Leading up to those boss battles is some really challenging combat and some awesome storytelling and world building all throughout. Again, it continues that cool, creepy story that's going on throughout this entire campaign. You really should start it from the beginning to get the full experience. Now, as I've said before with this series, it uses some survival horror elements that feel out of place. Most specifically, the slow speed that's being used. You really want to explore this map because it looks great, and the slow speed does hinder that a bit. Some of the boss fights are a bit frustrating. One boss fight in particular had too much darkness in certain areas with not enough silhouette opportunities so you could kind of see what was going on. Also, that lack of a consequence for death does make the combat feel a little less dangerous once you die once or twice, and it becomes very easy to sort of fall into a routine of just sort of plugging away at the boss and not really caring whether you live or die. Now, I'm sure that's part of the story, because part of the story is actually that you cannot die. I like that it's actually written into the narrative. Nonetheless, it does sort of reduce the danger a little bit. And again, the fact that it's using survival horror elements in what is a really good psychological horror series does sort of distract a little bit. But I mean, here's the thing. You're here for the scenery, you're here for the story, you are here because this is an awesome map. Check it out. That's 3 Salvation by Spindleshanks. That map ID one more time is RHVKTW7A. Number 2 this week is Section 93 M1 by Behemoth Programmer, and this one was fascinating for a lot of reasons. For one thing, it had stealth mechanics in it, which was very interesting to try to do in Doom. I'll give it credit for that. It also looked like it was trying to do some old school things, so there was no glory kill, and it was single jump only. Those are most of the variants that I made note of. There's also a checkpoint system and an interesting consequence of death in that it gives you a points loss whenever you die. die, so there's an incentive to stay alive, but if you still want to see the whole map through, you have the ability to do that. It is a fantastic looking classic style build with some module conversion going on there, some painted modules to really help out the navigation of the mobs. The map really gave me some aha moments with the burst rifle specifically. As most folks know, I'm not a big fan of the burst rifle, but this map actually made it make sense, which was pretty interesting. The stealth elements are not just a gimmick, they're actually pretty cool, and they are functional, and you get a point bonus for using them. There's also some great secrets in there, including a custom music secret that when you find it, hopefully it'll make you chuckle as much as it made me chuckle. I really dug it. There's also this section that has this awesome color-shifting wall thing that was really going on. Really cool to fight through, really surreal. And it had some really fun combat throughout. I mean, yeah, there was the sneaky sections, but you could just go all out and just have some combat as well. It was really cool for that. It had a good point system as well that rewarded good play and use of the custom mechanics without making them mandatory for success. So that's why you can do the map however you want to, but if you're trying to do it for points, you're going to want to try to take advantage of those stealth sections as well. Now, I will say this, the stealth mechanics did feel a little poorly explained, and some of the computer terminals weren't using that use icon, so it was a little bit confusing for me, at least at first, until I kind of figured that out. There was also this weird shooting gallery style thing that was at the beginning, before you actually get into the map proper. I felt that was also poorly explained, so there's a little bit in there that's not quite messaged well, but I mean, other than that, this is just a really great looking build. A lot of fun to play, a lot of unique ideas going on here with custom systems. Definitely check this one out. That's Section 93 M1 by Behemoth Programmer. You can check it out with map ID V7JF NW7D. Before I get into this week's number one, let's go ahead and go over some upvotes and some honorable mentions. This was an interesting week because I didn't actually upvote a lot of maps, but the ones I did upvote were really good. So, and even the ones I'm about to give honorable mentions to. In any case, let's start with those upvotes, starting with Map 9 School by Watsta. Some good recreation of a My Little Pony Equestria Girls setting. I especially like the colors chosen, the accurate layout, and in the context of the reality bending campaign, it's actually quite hilarious. In any case, it has some good attention to detail, had some good combat in it, and by and large it fit the setting correctly. I was digging it. Another map I upvoted this week was Mega Man Cutman Stage by Drakaya. It's a good throwback to a Mega Man style of gameplay that actually demonstrates a good way of making parkour style maps more fun, including some good jumping puzzles and collectathon elements. Also some good enemy placement, and it was legit challenging. Definitely check this one out. I'm also giving an honorable mention this week to From UAC to Hell Episode 3 version 1.4.0 by Dark Sniper. The only reason this didn't get an upvote is because I ran into a couple of bugs, but you really got to check out what he's doing here with the night vision stuff here. He's been improving it a lot in the latest iterations. It's definitely worth checking out. I definitely think you should check this one out. Another honorable mention this week goes to Doom RPG Episode 1 by XAC Slayer X. Also had to abstain from voting due to a bug, but I will say this much here. I was absolutely astounded by the amount of work that has gone into this. He's taken and tried to make a turn-based RPG out of Doom. It's a very ambitious project, and I'm definitely eager to see where he goes with it. Definitely give this one a look if you're looking for some inspiration for some cool custom systems. All of my playthroughs this week you can check out using the links you'll find in the description of this video. And with that being said, let's go ahead, I should say, and check out this week's number one. This week's number one snap map is Sandy Crater by Bloodshot 12. It is a gorgeous looking prop and geo build with some amazing work paid to the details. You really got to check this one out. Some of the props actually look like they came from the campaign. There was just some really great attention paid to detail on this map, and you really owe it to yourself to check this build out. It also has some really great community references, including a clever Cretan reference, which I was pretty happy with there. They actually built their own custom Cretan. That's pretty cool. Referred to it as Cretan Squared. It was really neat. I dug that. The navigation in this map was mostly easy to navigate. It had some really unique landmarking techniques used throughout, so I didn't get very lost at all while I was moving along. I knew exactly what I had to do from point to point to point, and you know, it just made ripping and tearing through this map exceptionally fun. It was just a whole lot of fun all around. It also, on the note of that, on that landmarking and the navigation, that was really useful because there's some solid backtracking going on in this map as well. A couple of just, sort of classic key puzzles going on there. It was really, really fun to do that as well as some really good secret hiding there. I was really impressed with all that. Now, I will say one thing. There's a really clever jumping puzzle towards the beginning, although it did come across as a bit frustrating. I felt like I was doing the right thing, and it turned out I was doing the right thing, but for some reason it just wasn't catching the first couple times I tried. So it did make things a little frustrating towards the beginning, but once I got by it, I was right as rain for the rest of the map. It also turns out that I missed a grenade at that point, which was vital because there's actually equipment cooldown power-up later on, which seemed weird because I missed the grenade. But, I mean, that's on me. That's not on the designer, All in all, though, I mean, apart from that one little jumping puzzle, which, by the way, takes place in another really excellent-looking area that you got to pay some attention to it. And, of course, I do have to mention that there's a checkpoint system that have my back, so just in case you're a little death-prone, this map has your back here. A lot of fun to rip and tear through. You're going to have just as much fun as I did, I bet you. That's called Sandy Crater. That's by Bloodshot 12 with a little help by Shadesmaster there. Let's give him a shout out as well. And that's map ID R8KWNYWX. And by the way, Bloodshot 12 and Shadesmaster, you, congratulations. You are the creators of this week's #1 Snap Map. There's a Fight Club 2. That's interesting. Well, listen, this has been the SnapMap Top 5. I've been Z-Manzilla, and you've been awesome. But before we get too far here, I'm wondering if you can help me out a little bit. If you can, then what I want you to do is go to patreon.com/Z-Manzilla and see the way that I help out the people that help me. Maybe you can help me get this fine comic here, but I kind of want to read it, In any case, you can also buy my artwork. I do artwork as well. Some of it's comic-like. You can check that out at Zazzle.com/drawnbutter. And, of course, if you want to watch me play these Snap Maps live, then what you do is you go to twitch.tv/ZManzilla. I play Monday through Friday around 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I think that's about it. Yeah, if you got a map you want me to play, let me know in the comments. Other than that, man, I've been Z-Manzilla. You've been awesome, and thanks for checking out this week's Snap Map Top 5. See you next week.